You're with CNN News 18. Let's take you straight once again to Bengaluru, where there's absolute chaos in several parts of the city. The Cauvery water war spilling onto the streets, mobs running riot all through the day, targeting vehicles with Tamil Nadu number plates.
And just as the Chief Minister of the state went on record to say that all was under control, 40 to 45 buses were torched at the KPN Travels bus depot in South Bengaluru. Why? Because its owner is from Tamil Nadu, I believe, Arun there. KPN is the largest private bus operator in all of South India, owned by a Tamilian, and this particular bus depot is one of the largest in Bengaluru. Section 144 has been imposed all across the city. It will be in place till the 14th. The question is, what was the police doing? The RAF was there, 15,000 police personnel were there as well. Yet we saw scenes like this play out from Bangalore through the day. Rajeev Chandrasekhar is joining us on the phone line now. Sir, have you been able to make any sense of the violence that has played out in IT City all through the day today?
No, it is. I'm still shaking my head. I can't understand what the government was doing. They were aware that they were approaching the Supreme Court today. They were aware of the violence of the last few days. They were aware that if the Supreme Court order went against them, there would be again spontaneous eruption of violence. But the fact that they made absolutely little or no preparation for it is just amazing. I'm still scratching my head, shaking my head, and trying to understand what the government was doing and what the government was thinking all this while.
Mr. Chandrasekhar, that's exactly what we're trying to understand, because you're not the only person scratching your head trying to figure out what exactly is happening on the streets of Bengaluru. What are we to make of it, sir? This kind of inaction that is coming in from the government. Several allegations that are also being leveled that that people are going slow on the protesters. What do you make of it? How does one respond to these kind of allegations?
I think there is a real, I don't have evidence to prove this, but there is a real sense that some of this was done to divert the attention and the anger away from the government and direct the anger at, let us say, the Tamil Nadu and the Supreme Court. And really, if there is anybody who needs to be held accountable for the situation that the farmers find themselves in, the state finds itself in this Cauvery River water dispute, it is the government, its legal strategy, and this hopeless way that they've organized it and arranged it from many, many weeks and months ago. And this episode of violence is, in a sense, creating an impact that it is distracting away from there and directing the anger of the people towards the Supreme Court and the Tamil Nadu government, which is, which suits some people fine in government, I suppose, but it is obviously the wrong thing.
So, Mr. Chandrasekhar, what essentially you are saying is this is not just a riot, this is political. The mobs, what we are calling the mobs, have some tacit political backing and they are serving a purpose there.
I don't have any evidence, but you must understand this culture and history of politically inspired riot runs deep in the government and in the Congress. It is not something new. And whenever there is a need to distract the attention from the government's malperformance or malgovernance, a riot comes in very handy. So I don't have any evidence to prove this, but it seems to me way too convenient. And the fact that it has taken so long for the police to act, so much destruction and havoc to be created, so much fear and insecurity to be instilled in the minds of citizens, there is some questions that need to be asked and answered.
Mr. Chandrasekhar, you're a member of Parliament, and I shudder to ask this question because it's striking an ominous note. But how long do you think this is likely to continue? I know it's a difficult question to answer, but just going by the situation and going by the way in which it's been mishandled to such an extent, what are we likely to see? Because this is not a picture of Bengaluru city that we can associate with.
No, there are two things that the government must do and has to do to sort this out. One is the government must come out clean and announce that the farmers who are so emotionally upset about the Cauvery River water relief, that the farmers will be economically protected by the government. I don't understand. I've been saying this to the government for the last 1 week. Why are they not standing up and saying, look, you don't have to be worried. We will stand by you. If you are economically disadvantaged by the water releases imposed on the state by the Supreme Court, the state government will support you. The state government will economically make it up to you. They must say that so that the emotional the fear, the anxiety in the minds of thousands of farmers are addressed. And the second thing that the Chief Minister must do, the Chief Minister of Karnataka and the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu must jointly say that our police will crack down on any sort of violence against any citizen or any resident in Tamil Nadu or Karnataka. These two things must be done if we are to put a lid on this kind of vandalism and violence that is giving not just Bengaluru a bad name or Karnataka a bad name or Tamil Nadu a bad name. It puts the whole of India in a bad light.
You know, Mr. Chandrasekhar, I'm not even sure if there have been people who have been arrested for all this arson and violence that we've seen play out through the day. You know, you're an entrepreneur yourself. Just talk to us a bit about the sort of image this is sending out to the rest of the world. You know, Bangalore is where we see a lot of investments flow in. What's the picture going out today? That the government there is unable to control a mob for 8 hours and the mob is running riot, and these pictures of buses burning, cars burning. I mean, I'm just wondering the sort of message this is sending to the rest of the world that's looking at Bangalore to invest.
No, it is not just about investment. I think we don't need to always see this through the prism of a business or a prism of an investor. We have to see it from the prism also of a normal common man and his family or her family going to work in the day, coming back. Metro is cancelled, buses are cancelled, there is fear on the streets. I mean, this is not what a modern city or a modern state or a modern democracy must be showcasing. This is the rule of law, the respect for police, the respect for the law must be something that is underlyingly basic for any city, state or country. And such an abrupt, easy breakdown is something that is inconceivable for a city like Bengaluru. I mean, I can understand if you say this for, you know, places that the conventional wisdom tells us their law doesn't work, there is hooliganism. But this is not a city that is known for this. This is a city of good, fine people, hardworking, government, private sector, public sector. For, you know, decades, this city has been a peaceful city. To suddenly have all of this collapse into this 8 hours or 9 hours of mayhem is really at the doorstep of the government, and I will not dilute that one bit.
All right, Mr. Chandrasekhar, we'll leave it there for the moment. You're saying it's way too convenient as well. Thank you for joining us, Rajya Sabha member from Karnataka. That was Rajeev Chandrasekhar speaking to us. Let's also get in Dhanya.